Discipline is a foundation of our faith. There's a reason that it's mentioned dozens of times throughout the Bible. It can be mentioned in some translations up to 100 different times. Of course, everyone knows discipline is just let things suck for a while and then you're so much stronger coming out of it. But what does the Bible actually say about discipline? Now, I'm going to break this down into three parts: physical, mental, and spiritual. You can skip through. I don't think you should, but if there's one you're really here for, skip right to it. Starting off with 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 27. But I discipline my body and keep it under control, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified. So when Paul says, but I discipline my body and keep it under control, he's saying that he trains his body. He intentionally makes himself undergo physical strain in order to have a better control over it and not fall to his desires. One desire is just straight up the desire to be lazy, right? It's thinking about the gym and you're like, I don't really want to go today. I mean, I've gone the past 4 days. I think I can take a day off. But when you start thinking those thoughts, right? Your body actually, like after a long enough period of time, reacts and just feels wrong if you have not worked out that day. That happens to me, and that has happened to so many people who consistently have worked out for several months or several years. And then when he says, lest after preaching to others, I myself should be disqualified, he's saying that if he doesn't actually go and discipline his body, and then he goes and tells everyone else to do that, then he's just a hypocrite. And with that hypocrisy, there's a level of guilt that comes with it that he may not say out loud, or that might actually destroy him. And then he might fall out of his habits and actually get lazier. So if he doesn't discipline himself, that's when the temptations kick in. Now, mental discipline pretty much refers to your thoughts and the things that go through your head. So it doesn't have to do with how much you can lift, but it has to do with, what are you thinking about when you just have time to yourself? So we're going to go to Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1. Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid. Now, in this verse, discipline means guidance and correction. So those who love discipline love guidance and correction. Now, we're not born into this world knowing everything. So when we make mistakes, people who are more knowledgeable than us tell us that we've done something wrong, and we learn from our mistakes, hence the knowledge. So if you love that guidance and correction, which is the discipline, you also love knowledge. So your discipline in your mind makes you smarter. You can't absorb information with biceps. You actually have to train your mind to love discipline. Now let's go to the opposite end of the spectrum. But whoever hates correction is stupid. Now, stupid here is an old Hebrew term that means like a stubborn animal. So someone who is unwilling to learn, right? So whoever hates discipline is just absorbed in their own world. All they're thinking about is, these people are saying, I need to get better, but I'm fine. I'm perfect. No, Jesus literally condemns that because he can't work with perfect people. When God fixes the broken is when things are transformed. So if you love discipline, you love knowledge. And if you hate discipline, you're stupid, you're stubborn, and you're unwilling. Now, spiritual discipline, I think, is by far the most important out of the three, because physical, it's good to be in good physical health, but eventually we're going to die. Mental, it's good to have a positive mindset, a strong mindset, but eventually we're going to die. And then spiritual, when we die by accepting Jesus' death on the cross, we ascend to heaven for eternity. That's how it works. So I got two verses here to explain what spiritual discipline is. I'm going to start with Hebrews chapter 12, verse 11. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Now, the beginning of this is very simple. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. That's the whole point of discipline. It's supposed to be doing hard things that suck in the moment. And then when you look back, you are so beyond grateful that you put yourself through that because it made you stronger. It made you who you are today. Later on, so we're talking about afterwards, the phase I just said. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. So afterwards, when you're looking back and being grateful, you can also look and think, what gifts did this provide me with? What insight do I have that I didn't have before? So last week, I was really just being attacked, right, by the enemy. Lust was through the roof, lustful thoughts, not acting on it for the most part. And I was sick of it. I was done with it. So I sat down and I prayed on a Saturday night and said, Lord, I need you to discipline me. I can't do this myself. I don't know how to do this myself. I need you to do it. So that Sunday I fasted to just really get it set in stone. And for the next several days, I was clean and I was good. I was just not acting on lustful thoughts. They were happening, right? I was being attacked, but I was just thinking it's so not worth it. Bottom line is it's gonna suck. Let it suck and embrace it. Next we got Proverbs chapter 3, verses 11 and 12. My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent his rebuke, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. Let's start with the first half of this, right? My son, do not despise the Lord's discipline and do not resent his rebuke. Let's say you ask God to discipline you, and then you're in there, you're in the trenches, and he is disciplining you, and you're like, man, this sucks. I hate this. Why do you hate this? You asked for it, right? And that's resenting his rebuke, him rebuking the past version of yourself, the one that you just don't want to be a part of anymore because they're just self-destructive. They're not doing anything for you, which is why you need to be disciplined in the first place. Now the second half, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. When we ask for discipline, it delights God so much because he knows that it's not an easy thing to go through. Discipline is hard. That's the whole point of it. That's what it means. It's doing hard things even though they suck. But when we ask him to put us through those hard things, he's going, yes, yes, that's what I've wanted you to do this whole time. Just let things suck for a little while. And then right after, you are going to be grateful. You are going to be joyful. You are going to be so much closer to the person that you want to be. But you have to ask for it. And then when you ask for it, like I say, he says, yes, yes, that's what I've been waiting for. Because he wants us to be righteous and have peace and produce. Sorry, I just can't stress this enough because if you aren't disciplining yourself, you're stuck. The Lord isn't working through you. He's not transforming you. So think, is what you are doing right now helping you at all? Is your diet crap? Is your exercise schedule crap? Are you not reading your Bible? Are you a Christian, right? So if you are any of those and you don't know how to do it yourself, sit down and pray. Let the literal being who knows every single thing in this universe tell you what to do, because for him, it's child's play. If I can leave you with one thing, is sit down and pray and ask for discipline, because that is what we all need.